All right, back here on CBS Sports HQ, we got some huge matchups on deck when it comes to college hoops. A huge matchup in the SEC. I feel like we're saying that week after week after week with how the SEC has been showing up when it comes to college basketball. Noon Eastern, I will be sat for number 5, the Florida Gators against Tennessee. We've got Cooper Flagg and number 2, Duke. They're with their in-state rivals. That should be a win for Duke, considering they are a 1 seed for Jerry Palm. These are all of the 1 seeds as it stands right now at this point of the season. We have 2 SEC schools in Bama and Auburn.
Spicy,
and then we have,
Bama, Auburn.
And then we have Duke and Iowa State. At one point, we were talking about Bama, Auburn, you know, like in terms of football, but now it's just like, are these basketball schools? Maybe. All right, let's welcome in the bracketologist himself, Jerry Palm. Jerry, once again, I'm saying an SEC showdown. And again, we're saying that every time almost 2 SEC teams play. But you know I love my Florida Gators. And the last time that they played Tennessee at the O-Dome, they won by 30. So how does the outcome here impact seeding, whether it's a Florida win, a Tennessee win? Walk us through the implications here for both of these teams in this top 10 matchup.
Yeah, it seems like every day is an SEC showdown, isn't it? You know, for Florida, they have a chance to push their way to the 1 line. And really the only thing keeping them there from getting there now is that they don't have as much in the way of the higher quality wins that some of the other teams do. But they have a chance to push, say, Iowa State off the 1 line if they can win at Tennessee, complete the season sweep over the Volunteers, and they might knock Tennessee off the 2 line and down to a 3. It really depends on what other teams do. And, you know, there are 7 SEC teams in the top 16 of my bracket, so they keep shifting around amongst each other, but it's always 7 or 8 teams in that group of the bracket, and it's amazing to see, you know, this league that good in basketball, or really any league this deep, this good in basketball. But you know, they have a chance to actually put 3 on the top line at the end of the season and have 3 number 1 seeds, which hasn't been done in quite some time. I know the Big East did it a couple of times when they were a 16-team league, but it's this league is strong enough to possibly do something like that.
Yeah, and I was asking Jerry off camera, I said, hey, if the Gators beat Tennessee by 30 again, then most likely you will get, you know, on the 1 line there. So it's as simple as that. Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, Todd, listen up. Just drop a 30 burger on the Vols again, and you'll be on the 1 line. Simple as that. All right, let's talk about UNC. They are your first team out, and they are traveling to Cameron Indoor to take on Duke. We know that is a very hostile environment as it is, and they have arguably the best player in the country in Cooper Flagg there with Duke. And this is a UNC team where there's always very high expectations here, Jerry, but I mean, it feels like this is going to be a very tough task for them to beat Duke at Duke.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's tough for everybody anytime to beat Duke at Duke. So why should this be any different? But North Carolina has struggled this year. They played their usual difficult schedule. They just aren't getting the wins. They're 1-8 against quad 1 teams, and that's not the kind of record that gets you in the NCAA tournament. So, you know, they're going to need to get some of these better wins. It doesn't have to be Duke. You know, there are other quad 1 opportunities in this league, but they're starting to run out of time. They're at the beginning of a 5-game stretch where they play Pitt home and home around the Duke game, and then they go to Clemson. So that's 3 out of 4 on the road, and then they go to Syracuse. So 4 out of 5 on the road, and 4 of those games against teams in the bracket. So, you know, this is a chance for North Carolina to resume build, because after that stretch of games, the only quad 1 game left for them is the home finale against Duke, and you don't want it to come down to that, your at-large chances, because, you know, this Duke team is really good, and you don't have to play them anywhere in a game that's really, really meaningful.
So UNC, they're part of that first 4-out conversation. So is Arizona State, and they are taking on a 6th seed in Arizona on CBS. Your expectations, implications, rattle them off for us, Jerry.
Yeah, this would be their best win of the year. You know, they've got a couple of nice wins, but they don't have any great wins. And they have a similar resume to North Carolina in the sense that they have a poor record against quad 1 teams. It's not as bad. But, you know, this would be a great opportunity for them to get their best win of the year. And that's really what this is. And because they're in the Big 12, you know, they're going to get more chances at wins if this one doesn't work out. And I know Houston is still left on their schedule. That's a great team. So Arizona State will have more chances and more chances than North Carolina does in comparison to try and resume build. But obviously, in-state rival, best team you've played so far, this would be a big one to get.
So we have a last four in team in New Mexico, and they're facing a 7 seed in Utah State. If we're looking at both of their resumes for New Mexico, how big of a challenge is this for them, and what will it do if they do get a win against Utah State? And then walk us through the reverse as well.
Yeah, it's New Mexico's biggest win of the year if they get it. Actually, New Mexico has done a pretty good job, except for they have a couple of quad 3 losses that they now have to try and play out of the mind of the committee. And this is their best chance of a high-quality win left on their schedule at Utah State. Toughest game, best net ranking. So for New Mexico, this one is huge. For Utah State, they can survive a loss here and still, make a run. Looks like clearly the best team in the Mountain West this year. So a loss here, is, as long as they continue to play well after that, doesn't really hurt Utah State significantly as they make a run toward a league championship.
And that matchup Saturday at 9:30 Eastern. Jerry, it is great to see you. First of many, many bracketology conversations that we will have between now and Selection Sunday. Getting a look at the odds to win it all. Duke and Auburn sitting at the top. And hey, my Florida Gators on the climb.
Saying there's a chance, Jack.
17 to 1. I like that plus money. Okay.